This is a slideshow that Felicia has put together. So let's just take it through. Talk to us about these pieces as we look at them, and I'll ask questions.
Okay. So this is the one I finished most recently. I think I only finished 3-4 paintings this last year, which I'm cool with because it's been a lot of transition, and I'm slowing down is been a big lesson. So I started dating a year and a half ago, again, after a long relationship, and then a year break after the end of a long relationship. And so kind of what I've been working on is observing myself in that arena in my 40s. Am I viable? Can I be playful? How does it feel if I'm vulnerable? And if it's not responded to, if I'm not getting the response I need. So this is me. I sent this, it's really super vulnerable, but to a lover I had, it's a selfie. That's kind of the parameter of the ones I'm doing. Is the view can only be as far as my arm is. And I kind of was dissatisfied with the interaction. And I was compelled and mortified at my, desire to paint these. But I feel like I've learned to know, like, I'm only going to be able to have the energy to paint things that I'm really called to paint now. Otherwise, it just falls flat. And I was really into painting these little selfies I took. And I couldn't figure out why at first. And then I realized I just was working on self-love and like doing something not for someone else, but just because I wanted to. And I don't know, a million brushstrokes on your torso is a form of self-love, and sharing your journey with everyone is also like self-acceptance. So they're kind of just like everything else. If it's a painting of a sandwich I made, or the corner of a room, or me, it's just me sharing what I'm learning.
Right. Well, I mean, one of the things that I've often quoted when in doing these reasonably fine art talks is Richard Schmidt saying the great thing about art is it lets you see what the world feels like to someone else. And I think this is an extraordinary painting, and both compositionally and the sense of gravity and the lusciousness of the paint handling. So to divorce it from subject for a moment, I'm curious about the fact that you did it in a circle, on a circular canvas. And I'm also curious about the paint layering itself, because it looks like there are some layers that are thin, but then have a very thick impasto. Is it out of the tube thickness of paint in the top layers?
Well, I don't think very much about those kind of technical things very much anymore, which is why I'm not teaching them, because I find them tedious. I'm just doing what feels natural. But it's round because, and this is something key, I realize, it's because someone asked me to create a round painting for a group show. And God, I love a challenge, a deadline, a parameter, a restriction. Like, if I have total freedom, I am not my highest creative self. If someone says, Felicia, you have 3 months and I need 5 paintings or 20 paintings and they have to be this size and this theme, I can, like, under that pressure, do better. So it's round because they asked. It's the second one I did for the show. It's actually going to be in a show at Harmon Projects in New York, Lower East Side, in a week or 2. So I dropped it off there already. So that's why it's round. It was a challenge. Actually, I think I started like 4 of them because getting the right one to fit into a round thing was hard. To Texture wise, I think it probably just comes from $1 million prima paintings where you've got 3 hours, and if you start thin and you build up, then it's just easier to go in one direction instead of having to make a mess and clean it up.
Fair enough. And well, and it comes from hours and hours and hours and hours of you working on your craft, because you did all those portraits for years. Next slide,
Yeah.